Hi, I'm your host, Matthew Cote, high school educated, master of nothing, but gifted with the knowledge, well, a lot. Located on the main drag of beautiful downtown Burien, Washington, and today on this podcast, we're going to talk about the crumbles and the cracks, the ups and the downs, the ins and the outs, and yes, I'm talking about your home's foundation, but I'm also talking about the foundations of life. So join us as we explore our guests' concrete foundations and their foundations of life. So sit back, relax, and let's get ready to go on an adventure. All right, today we have I don't even know how to describe the CEO that we have today. It's exciting to hear it, right?
It is,
yeah. So the CEO that we have is a person that comes from the biochemist.
Yes, that's correct.
Industry, and then moves into owning your own company. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how this all progressed? So you went from basically chemical Ali to detailing cars.
Yeah, so I went to college up at Western Washington University, got my degree in biochemistry. And the whole reason for that was I was really thinking about going into medicine.
Oh, shoot. Let's do your name. And
There we go.
Yeah, start with your first name and last name.
Yeah, so I'm Ryan Walsh.
From
SeaTac, Washington.
There we go. That's good.
Yeah.
We're pros here.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm Ryan from SeaTac, Washington. So as you mentioned, I have a little bit of a chemistry background.
Okay.
So that's through, going through school, I was thinking about becoming a doctor. And along that way, I kind of fell into research, started doing some independent research, and it was just really, really interesting. It was cool seeing a problem and really trying to figure out how to tackle that problem. So everything from basically we were looking at sugars to looking at pathways and brain pathways to pretty much lots of things. But it was just really interesting seeing the problem ahead of us and seeing how people went around to figure these things out, especially since you can't see most of these things. It's
right.
It's very out of the box kind of thinking, almost like a story that you're following or creating.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine being in the biochemistry industry, and trying to change the world by not even be able to see in anything you're working with. That you got to have some dedication right there.
For sure. Yeah, most of these things that we're dealing with, you can't see them with a light microscope.
Wow.
As far as you can zoom in, the light itself just doesn't allow us to look that close.
Okay, that sounds complicated.
It's hard to wrap your head around it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of I always try to. There was a mathematical formula long ago someone told me about. I forget what it was called, but it basically written out the mathematical formula. I think it was called a mathematical proof. And as it was written out, as I read it, this is at some college dorm somewhere or something, and it basically said that because of the infinite universe, anything that can exist will exist and must exist because there's no limit. It doesn't. So that just kind of blew my mind.
That is.
And then when it was done blowing my mind, I put another scoop of blowing my mind, and it was just, there's things out there that, and there's always that, what was that great Marvel movie, Ant-Man? Mm-hmm. So there's always that class of people that I don't know if you ever remember Micro Machines.
I don't.
So Micro Machines, they came out probably when I was, in the early 80s. They're basically a match, the Matchbox cars. But they're, an 8th scale. So they're just too super teeny, and you lose, the marketing genius behind them, you get them and you lose them in 5 minutes, you got to go buy more. But when you do have them in your hand, they're, being able to observe this very small, detailed little model with 4 little wheels wheeling around, so is it definitely interesting, the smallness of, and the detail that goes into the smallness, I had an opportunity to go visit that Hadron. I'm not even sure how to say it. Collider that's buried in the ground because they thought I was going to suck the planet in it or something. And had an opportunity to go visit it when it was in a tour capacity. It wasn't functioning. It wasn't up and running. And I remember reading on the board something about this this particle that goes through the entire planet. Like the wind blows across the prairie.
Right.
And I was like, well, it's because all the particles that we have on this planet, all your biochemistry particles and all they're spaced so far apart because this thing is so small. It just goes through it like the Grand Canyon.
Right. Yeah. There's actually a lot more space than there is stuff.
There's a lot more space than there is stuff. Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Just like the particles themselves are so small and they are spaced so far apart, like especially in like the nucleus versus like the electrons of like an atom. So the nucleus is that the protons and neutrons that are in the center, and really, really, really far out are the electrons that spin, and that's what basically keeps the molecules together or keeps them apart. And so basically, that space in between is much, much larger than the actual nucleus.
Oh, is there any way you can separate the fat from me and still allow me to eat McDonald's?
I mean, I don't know about that one, but there's a good biotech startup idea.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna biotech that fat right off your ass.
Yeah.
So okay, well, I had a couple of questions, that I wanted to hear about, and one of the first things that I always like to ask everyone is, tell me a little bit. So, we talk about the foundations of life, and I try to keep it, relevant and start it out with, tell me something that was impactful to you that was concrete related. Okay. I had a guy that I interviewed for an example. I said, hey, why are you a CEO of a bank? And he goes, well, I'm a CEO of a bank. That's a funny thing you asked me. And so he goes into this big long story, which ends in, when I was 17, I poured concrete, and ever since then, I wanted nothing to do with it. So I went as far away as I can, So tell me a story that you have that's concrete material related, something impactful in your life.
Yeah. So first thing that really comes to mind, it was actually when I was probably 6 years old or so. But I remember the neighbors pouring a new fence and a walkway in front of their house. And, in TV shows, you always saw people writing their names in it and all that kind of stuff. And they let us do that. And it was just so much fun. And I always think back to that. And it's just it's the little things, the little joys in life. And so.
Where is that?
That's actually up on Military Road up in, where is that? I guess SeaTac.
Yeah, SeaTac, not far from where. When was the last time you saw it?
Man, I haven't seen that in probably 15 years.
Well,
yeah,
okay.
It's been a while.
Sounds like you got an adventure to go see.
I guess so. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool, right?
Might have to hop a fence, but
yeah, hop a fence. Yeah. That I mean, concrete is. It takes about 10,000 years for concrete to actually dry. Okay. If you go to the Hoover Dam. And I don't know if they do this tour anymore, but I went on the tour of the Hoover Dam many years ago. And when you go down inside of it, you're deep down in the bowels of this thing, and the tour guide, the dam tour, on the dam tour, the dam guide on the dam tour says, touch the dam wall. I think that's how it went. So anyway, you kind of wait your turn. There's, 20 people with you, and you wait your turn, and you touch the wall, and it's warm. And on the other side of that wall is a lake, and on the other side of the wall is air, and it's warm. It's very warm, kind of like a hot tub warm. And I was like, well, what's going on here? And it takes about 10,000 years to dry, and there's still concrete in there drying to this day, and it keeps it warm. But it keeps those rooms warm down there because the concrete's still curing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, 10,000 years. 10,000 years. I mean, the Romans figured it out with that Portland cement. That's basically what they created to start building their bridges and, their infrastructures was that Portland cement. So, okay, so that's your impactful story of concrete. So something that's really interesting that you said earlier was you were telling me that, you are, you started this venture with your wife.
Yes.
Would you say? Okay.
Yep.
So you started this company that you're CEO of with your wife, and it's kind of an arm that's going to extend to other adventures.
That is the idea.
Okay. So tell me the path, how you went from biotech to a CEO of a, amazing detailing company that you're currently running now. Thank
you. So basically, these are my two loves is chemistry and science, and then cars.
Aha.
And so it came pretty naturally to me. I've taken really good care of my cars ever since I got my first car at 16.
Which was?
It was a Mustang V6 automatic.
Mustang V6 automatic.
So it's like the base of the most base Mustang you can get, basically.
Okay.
You think you're really fast, but it's actually really slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was
fast,
cool.
Move slow.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I'd always taken really good care of that, washed and waxed it and, detailed the inside like none other. And then as the years went by, I started developing all this knowledge with chemistry. And so I just really applied that really to the car detailing, knowing what dissolves basically things you don't want to touch each other, like things you don't want to touch paint, like, acetone or something like that. And really I started doing, all my cars, started doing my family cars. And then eventually it just grew into people asking me to do their cars that were just friends and, people I didn't actually know. So it really just came really naturally.
Are you making your own soap?
I'm not making my own soap. No, I'm not making my own products. I'm just using those.
Do you have any thought? Has that crossed your mind?
It has crossed my mind. Yeah. So
Ryan's soap.
Yeah.
Ryan's car soap.
Maybe down the line, but I don't know. The products that I use right now they work really, really well. So
for removing and maintaining the clear coat or something like that.
Exactly.
So what's the chemical properties of like a car soap? What the hell is it?
Yeah, so there's actually quite a few different things, but the main ingredient is the detergent. And so the detergent is what it is it's a really hydrophobic end, so a non-water loving side, and then a hydrophilic end, which is a really water loving side.
Oh, interesting.
And so the reason why that works so well is, you spray down your car with water, wash it around with the soap, and then rinse it away again. And so all those things that are on your car, they're either water soluble or they're not. Okay. And that's pretty much all molecules on this planet. They're either water soluble or not. And so this detergent basically bridges the gap between the two. And so you can get all these like oils, like oil and water, vinegar and water, oils, they don't really mix. And so one way that you could get them to mix is adding detergent. And so, one end of the detergent binds to the oil or the grease or whatever. And then the other half would bind to the water and you'd be able to wash it away.
Wow.
So that's basically how
that shit is
works.
Complicated.
Yeah,
so is that the basic idea of soap?
That's soap in a nutshell. Yep.
That's so where did soap come from? This sounds super complicated.
Well, I guess I don't know where soap actually came from.
Yeah, does anybody, or is it a known thing?
There has to be some natural occurring soaps. But I guess I don't know.
Natural, yeah, probably like concrete.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You rub concrete
Rocks.
on something, that'll take it off.
Yeah.
So you got your bachelor's degree in biochemistry at Western Washington. So which Western is that? Is that the one down by Canada?
Yeah, the one up by Canada, up in Bellingham.
Okay, I have a teenager that's about to go there. He got accepted.
Really? Nice.
And that's where my wife graduated from. It's an amazing place, actually.
I really liked it. It's a little different than a lot of the other larger universities. And talking to the other people that I work with that went to like University of Washington or something like that. The real key difference is being able to talk to your professors there.
Okay.
So all my friends at larger universities, they, had their big lecture with like 500 people in it, and then they'd break off into groups or whatever, and they'd talk to their teacher's assistant. Whereas I would just walk up to the front of my 30-person class and go talk to the professor. Yeah. And so, it's just a little bit more special attention, or just like, you get more of the expert's attention up at Western. Okay. And then the other thing about Western is they offer a lot of undergrad research. And so basically as a sophomore, junior, senior, you have the opportunity to go into a research lab that is funded by grants that a professor writes. And they just basically say, here's what you need to do. They touch base and then they let you go practice chemistry, which is huge. And that's really where I fell in love with chemistry and why I've gone down the path that I have.
Right. But so you heard about the I mean, you know about acids.
I do know about acids.
That's probably high up on the list, right? So what do you call an acid with an attitude?
An acid with an attitude.
Come on now.
I don't know.
Amino acid.
There you go.
I looked that one up. Something came across. The other day I was looking at something and I was like, and I remember seeing that, so I pulled that up today. I wanted to throw that amino acid, like a mean old acid.
That's really good.
That's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. So, are you able to tell us a little bit about this biotech firm startup situation?
Sure. Yeah, so it was known as Stratos Genomics, and we were based in Seattle, basically just down the street from Pike's Place.
Okay.
And the main subject of focus is we were creating the next DNA sequencer and the next DNA sequencing platform. Okay. And so the reason why that's so important is as medicine evolves, you can basically do personalized medicine based on reading somebody's DNA, which is the blueprints of a person's body. Oh. And so once you can start reading the blueprints of people's body, you can figure out the differences between the people. And so you can see if somebody has like a predisposition to like heart disease or balding or something like that, right? And then you can essentially in the future, not right now, but with this tool and in the future, you could potentially either tell that somebody has that and then proactively defeat it, or possibly in the future you could go and just cure it.
and how would you tell? What method would you use to tell? Blood work?
You can do it through blood. Your hair has DNA. Pretty much any part of your body has DNA in it. Every single cell has DNA in it.
That sounds like you could use it with Neuralink.
That would, definitely. And then basically the larger pool of population that you get, the more information you get, because you can see all the very small differences between the people.
That's scary, not scary.
It's scary, but it could be very helpful. Like I can think of another example that would be like really helpful right now.
What would that be?
Basically, you go into, let's say you get a bloodborne illness and you go into the doctor. A lot of times they'll just start treating you with antibiotics, and then if that one doesn't work, they'll go to the next antibiotic and then move down the line. But with this,
and antibiotics is basically kill everything, right?
It kills everything.
Everything but you.
It should kill everything. Okay. But it doesn't always, because there is like bacteria that like doesn't respond to this antibiotic, but it does to this one. Okay. So instead of like working your way down the list, you can basically just DNA sequence the actual bacteria in your blood and then target it right there. Okay. And so you're not hurting your body as much. You're getting, it's a lot more effective. And so it just makes everything a lot easier.
This is like, what's your IQ number?
Never taken an IQ test.
Really? You're not in the 157?
I don't know.
There's something to be said about somebody that is interested in something that's so massively complicated that you can't see. I mean, you must have like a ticker up there just going to town, imagining and creating. So you're able to create a map of this stuff in your brain and understand it, and then you're actually able to have a job to do it.
Essentially, there's a lot of whiteboards, drawing it out like what we think it would look like,
but it's got to start upstairs first, right?
It starts upstairs, and it's a lot of believing what people tell you, or the previous experiments and such.
So basically, you got into you started a car auto detailing company, which is amazing. You guys do amazing work, by the way. I've seen it firsthand, but the path you got into it, from what I understand, is you basically you figured out the gap between one cell and another cell, and you decided you wanted to remove it from all the shit you owned. But what I was looking at here, I'll show you this video. Check out this video. This is what happens when you don't have a professional, clean your car, and this just blew me away. I mean, so check out this lady. So she's opening up her car. We're looking at the video right now. She's got a pressure washer, and she's literally pressure washing her car seats. She's going to go to the back of the car. She's going to pressure wash, the window, the hatch. Now she's going to go for the hatch. She's going to pressure wash the hatch. This is just like massive.
No.
It's just pressure wash her windows, pressure washing everything. Water's flying in the car. I mean, this is actually how I would do it. If I would completely do it this way, take a work truck in there, and she's got her doors and she's just hosing her doors down. I mean, is there any reality? Do people do this? Is this what's going on here?
Oh, man.
Seriously.
I feel like she would probably ask, in a few months, like while her electronics aren't working anymore.
She's separating shit. Adam's here.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's probably getting her car pretty clean, but she's damaging a lot of stuff along the way. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily that far from what we're doing, but what we do is a lot more controlled.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's she's awesome.
I actually saw a video of somebody hitting their whole inside with a foam cannon the other day.
Oh, really?
I was just like, no.
Wow.
Like, no.
I don't know. I mean, this lady doesn't look like. I mean, she's in her 40s. She's must have cleaned a car. Oh, watch this. This is ridiculous. So this guy here, he wants to fix his windshield wiper inside a car wash. So he opens the door, fixes his wiper, can't get in fast enough. The auto car wash rips his door right off. I mean, this is why I'm just going to tell you right now. This is why you have pros do it for you. You're gonna go clean your car and come back with your whole damn door gone.
Yeah, not only that, but you went to a car wash that's spinning stuff across his car.
Oh yeah,
scraping up all the outsides and everything.
I think those things are more entertainment than cleaning. Is that true?
I would say so.
Yeah,
because you'll get out of the car wash and look like in your doors and stuff, and it'll still be dirty.
It's everything. It's shiny dirt.
It's very shiny dirt.
Yeah, because I go, okay, kids, we're going to the amusement park. When we go in there, and this car wash has like pink and blue and yellow, foam, and it smells pretty, and the car goes through and it comes back out. And it's like, all right, we just paid $20 for shiny dirt.
Pretty much, yeah. I used to, I have used touchless car washes from time to time, just when it's like way too cold.
Are those effective? Do those work?
They're not that effective. Like I used to carry around a chamois to go after the car afterwards.
To wipe it down?
To wipe it down again.
Yeah.
So it would be like 80% clean, I guess.
Okay.
But they're really not good for your car paint either. It's just they use really strong chemicals to try and melt everything off very quickly.
Yeah.
And so there's no way that can be good for your clear coat. It just eats into it.
What about the environment? Where does that stuff go? They just run it down the river or what?
I don't know personally, but I did work at an industrial chemistry place that basically they would neutralize everything and then they would put it down the drain.
Wow.
So like if this was like a really strong base that they use on their, in the car washes, they basically just add acid as it's running out the drain and hope that they neutralize it.
Wow. Okay, Puget Sound. Water and soap. Does soap hurt fish? Does car soap, does most car soap hurt fish? Or are they just like yum, 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 bubbles up my butt?
Well, I don't know about fish, but I know that soap's not good for humans. It can make you really sick.
Really? So don't eat a bar of soap?
Don't eat a bar of soap.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that. Won't be eating one?
Yeah.
So what about giving it to my kids when they're talking smack?
My parents did the same thing.
I guess we're still walking, right?
Yep.
We're okay. All right.
We're alive.
A couple of twitches, but everything's fine. Shoot. So tell me a little bit about your future plans. So to me, when a CEO goes from a college, I mean, you've gone from the college. Elon Musk has two masters. I think he has two masters or two bachelors. I think he has two bachelors, and then he has a master's that he dropped out after like day one. And so you got your degree, and then you're working for a company, a biotech company that's within your degree. So that tells me you had focus to get a degree and do what a lot of people got degrees and they're a degree for building skyscrapers and they're flipping burgers. It just didn't work out. They own 12 McDonald's or something. So you get now you're a CEO of a detailing company, and like what would it look like if you just kind of had all the means you need to do what you want? What would your path be?
I'd probably pursue science and cars. So I'd probably go down the the chemical route, actually.
Like making cars out of soap?
Not making cars out of soap, but making soap for cars.
Making soap for cars. That'd be cool, right?
It would be.
So what would what would you do? Is there a market for that?
Yeah, I don't know about the soap itself, but I guess I was thinking, a little bit more specific into the car field would be like the coatings. So like something really big in the automotive field right now is ceramic coatings.
Ceramic coatings?
Ceramic coatings.
What is that?
So it's basically a liquid glass or a liquid silica that comes in a bottle, and you get your car incredibly clean and polished and everything, and then you rub this all over your car, let it dry for a while, and and buff it off, and then it creates this really, really thin layer of glass on your car.
Is that nanotechnology?
It is nanotechnology.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The one thing I can use that word for. Nanotechnology.
Yeah, and the great thing about those is they're so chemically resistant. So like, you get some bird crap on your car, something like that. You should still probably, wash it off, but it won't leave a stain on your car, or like sap or something like that won't actually stain your paint. And then it's also resistant to scratches as well. Oh. So, like a black car, you see in the sun, you'll see every single scratch.
Sure.
And so when you put this on it, it's supposed to keep it from scratching and getting all those micro scratches for years.
Okay.
So it just keeps it really, really nice, and it acts as a better clear coat on top.
So it adheres to the existing clear coat.
It does.
Oh, okay. I was talking with somebody that recently. Well, it was a CEO of a polymer company where they make epoxies for garage floors, and they were telling me that this epoxy, if you prep the surface of the concrete properly, and you apply this epoxy to the floor, and you put kind of like a pull test, like some kind of suction cup, I would imagine, and you grab onto it and you try to pull this epoxy off, it actually won't come off. It'll pull the concrete with it. So ultimately its fail is, you will pull hard enough, like a chunk of the concrete slab will come out.
That's pretty cool.
That'll fail before isn't that awesome?
That is cool.
You could paint some, whatever on, and it bonds in such a way, where I guess it's not a mechanical bond. That's probably a chemical bond, right? It's kind of aciding itself into the body of the concrete or something. How would it do that? Do you know?
I don't know much about like the chemistry of concrete, but that would make sense that it would kind of like etch it or even go into the pores.
Go into the pores?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, chemicals are just amazing. I remember running into a guy that worked for DuPont, and he was a big player in the, I don't know if it was rubber gloves or like a kind of like a Rubbermaid thing, or the garbage bags or something, but the chemistry behind it, that he knew the guy that basically knew the guy that knew the guy that came up with what's that stuff that ladies wear on their legs that makes it look like nylon. And apparently, when he was talking to me about this, he's like, this was created by accident at a chemistry facility that was trying to figure out how to create different types of gases for cars and diesel. And it was just by pure accident they came up with it, and he's like, well, shit, a car won't run on this, but look at that. I could rob banks with this, or put it on a leg of a person.
That's really cool.
Yeah, by accident.
I feel like that's how a lot of cool breakthroughs like really happen.
Yeah.
Like I can think of, at my startup, just either accidentally doing something, not myself, but like just the company in general. But just like either adding too much or, just trying something really out of the box. And it's just like, wow, that worked really, really well. And so it's just like, having the ability to see that, I feel like is a huge, huge thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, how's business been going?
This has been going really well. Yeah, we've been incredibly busy. I am still practicing, chemistry and all that. So I am doing the detailing on the side for now.
Yep.
But I am hoping to move to that full time here in the summer.
Yeah. Well, it'd be really nice, like in a year's time to revisit you and you're, top of the, everywhere. Detailing all the car, you got minions running around detailing cars. It would be really nice to have a, reliable, consistent, company that does auto detailing. It just doesn't exist. There's people that I know that have fleets of vehicles, and stuff like this, and it's just always a hit and miss. Getting that, I'm waiting for the guy that builds the app that clicks and gets my car done while I'm at work.
That is kind of the business model we're going towards, for sure.
Get it, yeah. Get the app attack, app my car.
Yeah, I mean, for right now, we're basically to the point where you can just text us and we'll just show up.
Yeah.
We'll just start cleaning your car.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be there a lot of the times.
Yeah. A good friend of mine developed an app called Pop Smoke, and it's an app for veterans with PTSD, and it allows them to, hit this button on their phone, because everybody's got a phone with them, and essentially it sends their GPS location, and people come and help them if they're feeling down. But I mean, the app, I'm kind of tired of hearing app stuff, but there is some value in certain things with the app. As far as I'm concerned, I'm never going shopping again.
That's fair. That's very fair.
I have no need to go. My phone has Amazon.
Right. I haven't stepped foot in the mall in a couple of years, probably.
I mean, it's just super convenient. Now, I have been told I have a spending issue from time to time, but at the same time, even if I'm spending slightly more, if you run that, numbers and you do a spreadsheet on it, the gas and time that you spend going and getting, whatever, versus just clicking and getting it and not needing it or having too much, I don't know, Am I really?
I think I agree with what you're saying, for sure.
Yeah, I think there's room for discussion on that one, minimum.
Plus, it could potentially be greener too, because one person is delivering a lot of packages rather than you're going individually to the store. Yeah,
and then they have that option where you can, bundle your packages together and wait, 15 minutes longer, and or for convenience or whatever. So how do you feel about so cars are a big thing for you? How do you feel about this whole electric car world that seems to be upon us?
I think it's going to be a gigantic change.
Yeah.
I love my car right now. It pops and gurgles. It makes a lot of noise. It just launches like none other.
Yeah.
But I see a really good reason for having electric cars. Better for the environment. It's easier, like you're talking about. You don't have to go to the gas station. You just plug it into your wall.
Sure.
I will probably own an electric vehicle at some point.
Yeah.
But I have to say I'm going to miss the pops and gurgles of muscle cars and all that kind of stuff, and the smell of gasoline.
Yeah.
I know.
yeah. And pulling over the side of the freeway and watch it go up in flames.
Yep.
Because your Edelbrock carburetor's on fire.
But electric cars will do that too.
Yeah. But they'll between your legs and under your butt catch on fire.
The whole floor.
Yeah. Whole floor will melt down on you. I remember seeing, I don't know if you watched the Super Bowl, but they had a really funny commercial on there with Will Ferrell. And, it was a Chevy commercial talking about how, I think it was, I'm not sure who it was, somebody, I think it was Sweden it was Norway or something like that. They're the leaders in electrical vehicles in the world.
Right.
And they're like Chevy, and they're like, we're coming for you, Norway. I mean, it's coming, It really is. The manufacturing of these things are just coming right out of the ground.
Right. And I mean, electric cars have been around for a while.
Yeah.
It didn't catch the mainstream's attention.
Yeah.
I've read of, a couple cars that basically the auto manufacturers put them out, they worked really well, and then they recalled them all.
Oh, okay.
Just because the world wasn't ready for it yet.
Yeah. Well, there's also things like, the gentleman that invented the intermittent wiper. Did you ever read that article? Really interesting article. This guy invented the intermittent wiper, relay the electronics of it, took it to Ford dealership and showed it to him. They're like, get out of here, man, you an idiot. And then they took his idea and built it.
Man.
Yeah. Oh. Got him good, and it's kind of like that, you got these big boys out there playing with gasoline cars, and they have a huge interest in that, and so they want to, use up all that fossil fuel before they switch over to the sun,
right,
so to speak. All I know is that I like my truck. I don't think I've ever owned a car, but I'm leaning towards buying a Tesla Semi for my daily commuter.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to pimp it out.
I guess I don't know how big that thing is.
So I'll get it. Just they have to park it in somewhere around here. Ask somebody if I can use 4 parking spots, but I'm thinking my daily commuter is going to be one of those.
I mean, they're supposed to be able to haul a building almost.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that wouldn't be awesome.
That would be cool.
I'm going to get one of those, throw a hot tub in the back, bomb around town in that.
There you go. That sounds like a party.
I can't even imagine how cool that would be. That's about the only electric vehicle I'll allow in my life. Other than that, I'm thinking like 67 Mustang Fastback, kind of the Eleanor kind of thing. That would be something cool.
My dad has a 68 Fastback.
68. Wow. Yeah. Like, what does it look like?
It's looking pretty good actually. It's like almost running.
Almost running.
Just needs a tune up for sure. But
little tweak there.
But he basically rebuilt it himself.
Oh, wow.
So it has a bored out 302, and then a 4-speed automatic in it.
Muncie?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But it's basically it's not a full restoration, the same parts that were on it. Right. It's kind of like a semi-retro, like a resto mod kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. So he's probably got like the 9-inch rear end in there, kind of all these things.
Yeah. And then, the center console is like a new, nicer, like actual center console kind of thing. So it's stuff like that.
Defrost works.
Yeah. Like racing buckets in it, that kind of thing.
That'd be cool. I mean, this is the car. A buddy of mine in high school had one, and I drove it one single time, and it was a '66 Mustang coupe with a 289, kind of thing. It had posi traction and candy apple red, and I just drove it. And it's just I've never owned one. I've never drove one except for then. And my old man he was all into 57 Chevys and stuff like that. Growing up, we'd go down to SR, but I never owned a hot rod. I always wanted one. So, but I have a hard time buying a car. I have a real hard time buying a car because it's just, it doesn't do much for me except drive my ass around. But now I'm getting older. That's all I'm doing.
Well, that and when can you actually, open it up with all this traffic around and everything too?
Yeah, well, ask around town. I open it up quite a bit. They all know me. Well, okay, so one thing that I like to ask everyone, as we get to the end here is, the biggest thing and the most important thing, to everyone is kind of, we all have kind of a foundation of life, what gets you up in the day, every day, what kind of, motivates you to get going, and what kind of supports all your ideas and your momentum in life. I mean, what is your foundation of life?
I think for me, it's really like a strive for knowledge and just improving myself and those things around me. There's in school, they always talked about learning is a lifelong process. And I try to apply that pretty much every single day, trying to learn how to, take care of my lawn better, or, a new chemical reaction, or, a new detailing product, or, just every single day I'm just taking in everything around me and just trying to apply that to whatever I can, basically. And so it's just really interesting to me to just go from either not knowing anything or just like expanding on the things I guess.
If you're gonna can you draw?
Not very well.
Can you paint?
Not very well.
Can you do what type of illustration, if you were told to do one, could you do? Computer?
I could probably do a little bit on a computer, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going to draft up an illustration on a computer to show your foundation, what would it look like? I'm looking at the picture. I'm staring at it like the Mona Lisa. What am I seeing?
Maybe like a package that's opening with like a book or a brain coming out of it. I don't know. It's just like, It just, or a magnifying glass. Yeah.
This is starting to sound like Salvador Dali.
Yeah.
Did it have a droopy clock in it? So you got a package with a brain coming out of it?
Or, microscope or something like that. Yeah.
Is this a Wikipedia commercial?
Could be, yeah. I mean, they need it, right?
Yeah. So maybe the gift of knowledge, or the gift of being able to I'm trying to visualize what I'm looking at, because it can't be, it's the foundation of life and everything you do every day. You get up in the morning is the hunger to learn more.
Yeah, I mean, I just I have a lot of interests, like I said, like chemistry and cars, two different things, and so it's just I'm really interested in those kind of things,
right?
And so I'm always interested in exploring different paths, or like hearing from different people, or because it's not always just like taking in what's around me. It's like listening to other people tell me about their experiences, and just I guess living and just taking everything in. Yeah.
Okay. Living and just enjoying every day.
Try to. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I think we're gonna end it there. And I'm super grateful for you to come. I gave you a kind of a short notice, to come on board and do this, but it's really important for me to try to support new CEOs and people that have been doing this for a long time, and really understand what kind of makes people tick, and how do they get to that CEO level, and how do they maintain it, and so hopefully, in a year I can invite you back on board, and you could tell me a little bit about the soap that you're creating, or the car that you're driving,
For sure. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been a lot of fun.
If you want to have a look at this podcast, find us Foundation Nation on Spotify or Apple Podcast. And I'm Matthew Cote, your host, signing off.